echoes in the woods. The rusty sign at the trailhead was barely clinging to life, its message a faded whisper against the encroaching wilderness. Blackwood Falls, experienced hikers only. Ignoring the ominous warning, Ethan and Maya, fueled by youthful bravado and a thirst for adventure, plunged into the dense forest. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy, casting long, skeletal shadows that danced across the uneven ground. The air hung heavy with the smell of damp earth and decaying leaves, a suffocating silence broken only by the rhythmic crunch of their boots. The map promised breathtaking waterfalls, but with each passing hour, doubt began to gnaw at Ethan's confidence. The marked path had vanished, replaced by a labyrinth of tangled roots and fallen logs. Maya, initially enthusiastic, grew quiet, her cheerful chatter replaced by nervous glances at the darkening sky. As dusk painted the woods in shades of purple and gray, exhaustion set in. They stumbled upon a clearing, a small, dilapidated cabin nestled amongst the towering pines. Relief washed over them, but as they approached, a sense of unease settled in. The windows were boarded shut, and a thick layer of dust coated the warped exterior. An unsettling silence emanated from within. Desperate for shelter, they decided to spend the night. Ethan pried open a creaking window, its hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the cabin reeked of mildew and something else, something primal and unsettling. Broken furniture lay scattered about, and cobwebs draped the corners like ghostly tapestries. In the fading light, a tattered picture frame on the dusty mantelpiece caught their eye. It held a faded photograph of a man with a kind smile and a woman with eyes as deep and green as the forest itself. Sleep came fitfully, haunted by strange sounds, scratching on the walls. Low moans carried on the wind. Maya awoke with a scream, a bone-chilling whisper slithering through the room. Don't leave the trail. Reality and dreams blurred. And when they finally emerged from their fitful sleep, the morning light revealed a chilling discovery. The map was gone, vanished from Ethan's backpack. Panic gnawed at them. Lost, disoriented, they decided to head downhill, hoping to stumble upon a stream that would lead back to civilization. The descent was treacherous. The undergrowth grew thicker, the air grew colder, and an unsettling stillness replaced the forest's usual symphony of birdsong. Then, they saw it, a majestic waterfall cascading down a moss-covered cliff. Its beauty was undeniable, but a primal fear clawed at their hearts. The falls were not marked on the map. As they got closer, an acrid stench hit them, the smell of decay, of something long dead. Near the base of the falls, a horrifying sight met their eyes. Bones, countless bleached white bones, lay scattered amongst the rocks, victims of the treacherous terrain. But these weren't just animal bones. Human skulls with empty sockets stared back at them, a silent scream trapped within their hollow cavities. Terror propelled them forward. They ran, the sound of the rushing water a terrifying echo in their ears. They didn't know where they were going, just that they needed to get away. The forest seemed to close in on them, the trees like twisted sentinels watching their frantic escape. The whispers returned, louder this time, echoing through the trees, a chilling chorus of voices speaking in an unknown tongue. Stumbling through the undergrowth, they emerged into a clearing dominated by an enormous, ancient oak tree. Its gnarled branches reached out like skeletal arms, and beneath it, a weathered stone circle stood like a forgotten monument. A primal terror gripped them. This place held a power they couldn't comprehend. Panic turned Ethan's legs to lead. He tripped, scraping his knee on a sharp rock. As he reached down, a glint of metal caught his eye. It was a rusted compass, half buried in the dirt. Hope flickered in his chest. He pointed it north, and following its needle, they plunged back into the woods. Hours turned into days. Hunger gnawed at their bellies. Thirst parched their throats. Exhaustion threatened to consume them, but they dared not stop. The whispers followed them, a constant reminder of the darkness they disturbed. Just as hope dwindled to a flickering ember, they stumbled upon a narrow, barely visible path. With renewed strength, they followed it, their pace quickening with each step. The path led them out of the dense woods into a sun-drenched meadow. In the distance, a plume of smoke rose from a chimney. Tears welled up in their eyes. It was a farmhouse, a beacon of salvation. They ran towards it, collapsing on the porch steps, gasping for breath. An old woman, her face etched with a lifetime of stories, answered their frantic knocking. They were welcomed with kindness, offered food and warmth. As they devoured the meager rations, they recounted their harrowing ordeal. The woman listened patiently, her weathered face creased with concern. When they finished, she shook her head slowly, her voice a low rumble. "Blackwood Falls?" she muttered, a hint of fear flickering in her eyes. "That place is cursed. They say the woods are haunted by the spirits of those who dared to trespass. It was never meant for the likes of you young folks." Ethan scoffed, the warmth of the fire and a full stomach emboldening him. "Haunted? Come on, there's no such thing." Maya, however, remained silent, a tremor running through her. The old woman fixed Ethan with a steady gaze. "Maybe not haunted," she conceded, "but the woods themselves hold a darkness. They are ancient, filled with secrets best left undisturbed. And then there's well, some say there's something else out there, a creature of the night that preys on the lost and the foolish." A shiver ran down Ethan's spine. He recalled the whispers, the feeling of being watched, the unsettling silence that seemed to hold a presence. But surely that was just the fear playing tricks on his mind? The next morning, the old woman helped them contact the local authorities. A search party was organized, but days turned into weeks, and no sign of the missing map was found. The search for the entrance to the marked trail on Blackwood Falls remained fruitless. It was as if the path itself had vanished. News of their ordeal spread, whispers of the cursed woods clinging to them like a shroud. Ethan, once carefree, became withdrawn, haunted by nightmares and the chilling memory of the scattered bones. Maya, though shaken, seemed to recover faster, a newfound determination burning in her eyes. One night, a month after their escape, Maya woke Ethan with a frantic whisper. "The picture, the one in the cabin." She explained a recurring dream, a vision of the woman in the photo, her green eyes filled with a desperate plea. Intrigued, they dug out the newspaper clipping that held their story. There, amidst the text, was a blurry image of the photograph from the cabin. Ethan squinted at it. The woman's face seemed more clear in his memory, the message in her eyes more urgent. Driven by an inexplicable compulsion, they decided to return to the old woman. She listened intently as they described Maya's dream and Ethan's feeling. A flicker of understanding crossed her face. "The woman in the picture," she said, her voice soft. "Her name was Evelyn. She and her husband, Daniel, lived in those woods years ago. They loved the forest, respected its power. But then, one winter, they vanished without a trace. No one ever found them." A horrifying realization dawned on Ethan. The bones, the whispers, they weren't just random victims. They were all connected, lost souls trapped within the wood's malevolent embrace. "We need to find their bodies," Ethan declared, a newfound resolve hardening his voice. "Maybe then, their spirits can finally find peace, and the woods will let us go." The old woman shook her head, her eyes filled with sadness. "The woods don't let go easily, child. But if you insist, you'll need help." She reached into a drawer and pulled out a worn leather pouch, handing it to Ethan. Inside, nestled amongst dried herbs and animal teeth, lay a small, intricately carved compass. "This belonged to Daniel," she explained. "It may guide you back to where they were last seen. But be warned, the forest will fight you every step of the way." Fueled by a newfound purpose and a desperate hope for redemption, Ethan and Maya, armed with the compass and a growing unease, embarked on their second perilous journey into the heart of Blackwood Falls. This time they were prepared. With the help of the old woman, they learned about the local folklore, the ancient rituals used to appease the spirits of the woods. They gathered herbs said to ward off evil, and carved protective symbols onto their backpacks. Their return to the forest was like stepping back into a nightmare. The air hung heavy, the silence oppressive. The whispers seemed louder, more menacing this time. Following the compass, they navigated a maze of fallen trees and treacherous ravines. Each snapped twig, each rustle in the leaves sent shivers down their spines. Days blurred into nights. They found remnants of an old cabin, a single charred log, a rusted lantern. The compass needle twitched erratically, leading them in circles at times. Despair threatened to engulf them, but the haunting image of the woman in the picture spurred them onward. Then, on a moonless night, they stumbled upon a hidden cave entrance. The air inside was stagnant and cold. Armed with torches, they ventured deeper, the cavern walls dripping with condensation. The whispers seemed to emanate from within, growing louder, morphing into guttural growls. Panic clawed at their throats, but they pressed on, their determination fueled by a sense of impending revelation. The cave opened into a vast cavern, its floor littered with bleached bones. In the center, a dark, swirling vortex pulsed with an unnatural energy. Around it, crude symbols were carved into the rock, forming an intricate circle. A wave of nausea washed over them as they recognized the symbols, the same ones used in the old woman's protective rituals, twisted and corrupted. Suddenly, a chilling shriek tore through the silence. A monstrous, shadowy figure materialized from the swirling vortex. It was tall and skeletal, with glowing red eyes that burned through the darkness. Its limbs were long and spindly, tipped with razor-sharp claws. Fear threatened to paralyze them, but Maya, her voice trembling, recalled the old woman's words. "It feeds on fear," Maya gasped. "We have to be strong." Ethan gripped the pouch containing the protective herbs tighter. Following Maya's lead, they chanted the words the old woman had taught them, pronouncing the ancient incantations with growing conviction. The creature screeched again, the air crackling with dark energy. The vortex pulsed with renewed intensity, threatening to pull them in. Just when hope seemed lost, Ethan remembered the compass. It wasn't pointing towards the creature, but towards the symbol-etched circle on the cavern floor. With a burst of courage, he sprinted towards it, Maya close behind. He threw the pouch containing the herbs into the center of the circle. The effect was instantaneous. The air crackled with a blinding white light. The creature shrieked a deafening scream as it recoiled from the pulsating energy. The vortex began to shrink, tearing at the creature as it tried to resist the pull back into its realm. With a final, earth-shattering roar, the creature vanished into the vortex, which then imploded upon itself, leaving only a faint echo of its dark energy. The cavern plunged back into darkness, but a sense of peace, a lifting of the oppressive weight, settled over them. They found the remains of Evelyn and Daniel within the cavern, huddled together, their bones marked with strange symbols. Ethan and Maya carefully wrapped the remains in cloth, a silent promise to return them to a place of peace. Exiting the cave, they looked back at the forest, no longer filled with fear but with a solemn respect. The whispers had ceased, replaced by the gentle chirping of unseen birds. The sunlight seemed brighter somehow, filtering through the dense canopy as if finally allowed to reach the forest floor. Their journey back was arduous but uneventful. The compass remained silent, its purpose served. As they emerged from the woods, blinking in the sunlight, they felt lighter, a burden lifted from their shoulders. They returned the remains of Evelyn and Daniel to the old woman, who wept openly at their sight. "You did well, children," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You brought peace to the woods and freed the souls trapped within." News of their second expedition spread like wildfire, changing the perception of Blackwood Falls. The woods remained dangerous, but no longer solely malevolent. The story became a local legend, a cautionary tale about respecting the power of nature and the importance of honoring the past.